Okay, so what we're going to cover in this quick video is an overview of the R&D effort that's been done to make install of the doors easier. Our target is to cut down the time to install the doors and align them by about 50%. We also want to make them stronger. So one way that we've done that, you can just see kind of by a quick overview of the parts. This is going to be a piece that's welded to the chassis, which will hold the actual door hinges, as well as a brand new piece which is going to be a limit strap so that the doors are limited in how much they can open, so they don't open all the way and overextend. So one of the key differences that you can see here between the new and the old, again, beyond just the bracketry to hold the hinges, again this is the new one, this one is the old one. You can see a major difference in the amount of material that's there to strengthen the door and help maintain that alignment. Is the thickness of the material that we're using for the actual hinge arm itself. This one doesn't have the pivot point welded to it yet, but you can see the difference in the thickness of the old arm and the new arm. Also, if I kind of rotate them here, you can see this old arm, the black powder coated one, kind of necks down here, so it's a little bit weaker in this cross section here than maintaining that overall thickness all the way through the arm. And we've also shortened the length of the arm. You can see there if I line up the bends, so that you don't have as much of a lever arm extending beyond the pivot point. So in shortening the arm, making it a thicker material, and maintaining that cross section, we've added a lot of strength to it there. Where we save the time in adjustability is this piece used to have to be bolted on, so you would have to kind of reach in the wheel well here like this and bolt this on with 3 carriage bolts. Now you can see the piece here will be welded on, so you can see it's got the lower leg here, the upper extension, and then the flat face which goes left to right on the car. That's where this piece will mount, and this is the pivot point where the arm, which again doesn't have the sleeve on it yet, will mount to. So there'll be a shoulder bolt that will mount there, and that's what allows the arm to pivot. And then we have our adjustment here in these 2 slots, which is a little bit easier to access from the inside the wheel well. So you do still have to reach in there a little bit, but all you have to do is adjust those 2 carriage bolts to make your adjustment, rather than having to bolt up that whole structure there for the door to align. The other thing that we've done is we've changed the door frame. So this is a prototype of the new door frame. We've added this piece of sheet metal, which will probably end up looking a little bit different than you see now. We'll probably add some holes to lighten it up, and maybe some access holes so that we can adjust the window tracks and things like that. But in adding this piece here, there was nothing there before. It was just these 2 pieces of 1-inch steel, one on the top, one on the bottom. It allowed the door to twist laterally, as well as allow the weight of the door, just the weight of itself with all the glass and the tracks in it, to kind of sag down at the back of the door, which affected alignment over time. So even when a car would maybe leave the factory, or between the time when we first aligned the doors and when it was about ready to leave the micro factory, you'd notice that you'd go to shut the door and it wasn't aligned the way that it was when you first aligned the door, because the weight of the door was allowing it to sag and come out of alignment. What we've also done is we've made it a lot easier to adjust how the door fits in the opening, like this here. See, I got some parts in the door there. Sometimes it required us to roll the top edge of the door in or out like that to align with the exterior of the body. And the way that we were managing that before was in slotting these holes in the fiberglass, which is where the front edge of the frame, here you can see the holes, the corresponding holes here. These holes would have to be slotted in the fiberglass, and oftentimes that might mean you have to take the door off completely to slot the fiberglass holes, and then allow you to, again, roll the door in or out at the top or bottom edges to align with the rest of the body. Now what we're doing is we've controlled that by adding the slots on those hinge plates that I showed before, and then also to mount this, to the door. Now what we're doing is we're drilling and tapping the steel itself rather than using a 1/4 20 flange head bolt. So now it's less hardware, it's easier to align when you do the initial install off the car. We've also made some changes to the hinges themselves, or excuse me, the latches themselves, to make those adjustable as well, in the event that you do need to raise or lower the latch once you've got the door in the right spot. And that's about the simplest way to state how we've made changes to the doors themselves to, again, reduce the time of labor to install and align the doors by about 50%. And we'll have an update on the website pretty soon of, again, the changes I was talking about, like the lightning holes in the door frame and any other changes that we make to the doors, including all the door handles and latches themselves.